Today's reading is all about the mystery messages that Spirit has for you, meaning I have no idea what we are going to be asking Spirit. So we are going to be finding that out as we go, you and I together. So it's going to be a really, really exciting and interesting reading, hopefully. And yeah, I am just thrilled to jump into it. We're going to have a lot of messages to decipher and unveil. So if you are interested in that, definitely stay tuned until the very end to get the most benefit out of what Spirit has to say to you. But we have 3 piles to choose from in today's reading, and they go as such. This card represents pile number 1. This card represents pile number 2. And this card represents pile number 3. If you already know exactly which pile is calling out to you, then you can go into the description box and click on the timestamp that you need. But if you are somewhat struggling with choosing the right pile for you, then just a few of my recommendations would be, first, try and get yourself into a quiet space so that you wouldn't be distracted by any loud noises or any commotion around you. Closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths would also be really, really beneficial, so you could really center yourself, get grounded in the present moment, and really tune into your body. So as you are looking at these piles, just feel your way through what is coming up for you. Are you seeing any specific symbols? Is your eye caught on any specific color or keyword or shape or, anything like that? Just listen to your intuition and follow it. But I also always recommend using your discernment as you are listening to these general messages. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number 1. My name is Helen and I am so excited to do this reading for you and jump into all of the messages, the mystery messages that Spirit has in store for you. So what we're going to do is we are first going to look at this card that you chose, and we are going to look at the pre-prepared oracle cards in just a bit, because as always, I love feeling my way through these cards and seeing what I am picking up on them intuitively. So let's see what this card feels like. So you chose the Fox card, and what I'm feeling over here most strongly, pile number 1, is that at this time, you could be in an energy where it's really difficult for people to read you. I feel like you are a bit of a mystery to them. It's almost like you are kind of elusive, and I don't think that you are necessarily intentionally doing that, even though I feel like that may be the case for some of you, especially if you are kind of skeptical about the energies around you and you may have some doubts, or that actually feels like more of a specific message. So maybe some of you have recently discovered something, or you have found out something that has made you waver or kind of doubt the trustworthiness of someone around you that you used to be very close with, or that you used to think you could trust. So I feel like it's some sort of information that they don't know that you know, but as something was revealed to you, or as you found something out, it just feels like you are having somewhat of a shift in your guardedness. So you could be having some walls up, and you could be somewhat detached and somewhat more in an observant energy right now. We're just sort of trying to gather information and really see and feel your way through the situation intuitively, and seeing what you can pick up from this person's behavior, so that you can make some more well thought through assessments or conclusions or something like that. But as I said, that feels like a more of a specific message. So in general, though, it doesn't seem like you are intentionally being more aloof or more sort of holding back, where, as I said, it feels like it's very difficult for people to read you for some reason. But it could also just be that you are really consumed with something. You may be going down a rabbit hole of actually, learning about something, or really getting seeped in some sort of environment or culture or just the energy of something that you're really interested in, because with the fox, there is heavy emphasis on like wisdom and learning. So it feels like something is piquing your interest here, pile number one. Whether this is some sort of subject that you are learning actually like at school or in university or in a course or something like that, whether this is some sort of books that you have picked up and sort of like self-studying, or is that an expression? Just studying independently, right? Not like under someone else's supervision or guidance or anything like that, but you are just diving into some sort of topic because of your own interest, and just like getting into the books and looking at YouTube videos and trying to find out as much as you can about it. And maybe it's not even something that you're trying to do for a specific reason of like turning it into a money-making thing or anything like that. Some of you could just be purely interested in something and you're just trying to find out more about it, when maybe you are not even necessarily intending to do anything with that information, like specifically. But it just feels like, it just feels like your mind is very active at this time, and you seem to be like giving your brain quite a lot of stimulation in that sense. Some of you, I don't know why, but I feel like some of you could either be learning a new language actively right now. I mean, not like while you're watching this reading, obviously, but like, I don't know, maybe some of you are, I don't know. But that's one of the messages coming through. But the other one is that some of you could be doing like mnemonic exercises, or like you could be working on your memory. I don't know why that's coming through, but some of you seem to be, like trying to enhance your memory. Maybe also like doing a lot of crossword puzzles or Sudokus or things like that. I don't know. It just feels like your mind is very active at this time, pile number one, and that seems to be a big focus for you. And so that's why it could be that other people are having a harder time connecting with you, because it's like even when you are with other people, you are there. It could be that you find your mind wandering to like other things, other topics that are sort of more at the forefront for you right now. So, again, if you are learning or studying something actively, or you're trying to find out more about it, then it could be that even when you are in a social situation and you are like trying to relax, it's like your mind still wanders back to that topic. So you find yourself like thinking about it and kind of zoning out of conversations or things like that. I don't know. That is what I am feeling here, pile number one, just purely intuitively. So if you are kind of still iffy about this energy and you are not sure whether this is you 100%, then stick around for these oracle card messages, because we are going to look at what it is that you are currently dealing with. What sort of energy are you currently in? So as you are listening to these messages, hopefully it will be a lot easier for you to figure out whether this reading is about you or not. Okay. I am chuckling to myself because of this card. Anyway. Oh, wow. Okay. We have bullseye and focus. We have manifesting magic. Interesting. We also have abundance. And we have the scales. Okay, so pile number one, definitely certain confirmations coming through from these oracle cards. It's kind of crazy how these like synchronicities and sort of messages come out like that, but it's also really, really cool. Sorry, okay, so little spiel over. Let's get into the cards. So the first two cards are definitely confirming the message of you being very much laser focused on working on something, because with the cogwheels card over here, it feels like something is definitely in the works, and there seems to be a lot of like moving parts. But again, it feels like these moving parts are more so internal, so meaning that your brain seems to be very much in like active pursuit and active work to move towards this like very concrete goal, obviously, because with this bullseye and focus energy coming through, it seems like you aren't very easily distracted at this time, pile number one. I feel like you have really been doubling down on your efforts in achieving something. And so that's why it's kind of funny to me, this confirmation coming through, how you know, I was feeling most strongly that it may be difficult for people to connect with you right now, or like at the very least connect with you on like a very deep or emotional, spiritual level, because it almost feels like even if you are present there in person, physically, there is something within your energy that feels aloof, that feels detached. And I feel like people can kind of sense that. And that's where like this sense of not feeling connected to you seems to be coming through. Although for some of you, it definitely could be that you are even having a hard time physically connecting with people because of the amount of work that you are doing and the amount of effort that you are exerting on following this goal and learning as much as you can. So that seems to be definitely coming through here as a confirmation. Now, another thing that I was feeling, which is way more specific in nature, but as I was looking at the scales, and I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but as I was looking at the scales, I kind of got the message that some of you could actually be learning law, getting into law, and maybe trying to get your degree or trying to pass the bar or something like that. So the reason why I found that was funny was because, you know, the more specific message, which obviously this is more of a specific message as well. I don't think everyone watching this reading is studying law, but the more specific message of like learning a language and like training your memory and stuff like that, I feel like that could very much go hand in hand with this message of someone here watching this reading right now, possibly studying law or maybe thinking about going to law school or something like that. Maybe you are pre-law. I don't know whether that's actually a thing, but you know how pre-med is a thing? Maybe pre-law is a thing as well. I'm not sure. So sorry, you know, you can correct me in the comment section if that's wrong. But it definitely feels like if that's the case for you, then you could be like learning Latin, or you could be trying to memorize certain like very specific terms or very specific like cases and things like that. So anyway, detaching from that energy, because that, as I said, that is very specific. But if we are like coming back out of that energy, more broadly, this just feels like you could also be trying to figure out how something works, specifically like the mechanics behind something, or like the systems in something, if we are talking more abstractly. It just seems like you could be trying to understand how something works, possibly so that you could better it as well, the already existing system. Anyway, moving on. So we also have this manifesting magic card that is in the center here. And so it does seem like whatever this is that you are so invested in right now, and this sort of rabbit hole that you find yourself in, it seems to be very much tied to something that is like lighting you up on a whole other level. So it doesn't seem to be like just a whim or something that is more superficial. This seems to be something that you almost feel like a soul calling towards, or something like there seems to be this deeper urge that you feel that is propelling this thing in you, that is propelling you forward. Now, also, I know that I said that some of you could just be getting into this for the sake of like learning more about it and becoming more knowledgeable, rather than like seeking some sort of rewards from it at the end. But for some of you, especially with this abundance card, it could definitely be the case that some of you are trying to turn this thing into like a source of income for yourself, or just an added stream of revenue. So, you know, especially if you are trying to get into like investing or crypto, or just getting more in touch with like the financial systems, that could be the case definitely for some of you. But I also feel like with this manifesting magic, it seems like you have this, like some of you could also have this goal of, as I said, like making something better or creating some sort of change or shift, like on a bigger scale, especially where you could be trying to like leave your own mark in some sort of area or in field. So that could be the case as well. But yeah, I kind of just feel with this abundance card as well that, as I said, for some of you, it could definitely be talking about monetary abundance. But I also just feel like there is a lot. Like this card is just talking about a lot of energy or a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of focus that you are putting into this thing that you are doing. So it kind of is just giving me this vibe of like your mind being on overdrive. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But especially with the scales being here, I feel like the notion of balance and equilibrium is being highlighted, because I feel like there could be a bit of a lack of balance right now, where you could be having a hard time, as I said, finding time for like social interactions, or just taking time out for yourself, finding time for recuperation, maybe even as you are trying to like unwind at the end of the day and go to sleep. It could be difficult for you to actually shut your brain off and calm down your central nervous system and really like try and, you know, get ready for sleep and get your body prepared for sleep. It could be kind of difficult for you to do that. So I definitely feel like at this time you are just in this like go, go, go mode. And because of this magic keyword as well, it just is giving me this feeling that it could be difficult for people to even like completely understand what it is that you're doing. I don't feel like it is necessarily a secret what it is that you are doing. So it's not like you are trying to actively, you know, hold that information from people. But I just feel like even if you are trying to explain it to them, it could be somewhat difficult, or it could be so nuanced and specific that people just like have a hard time deciphering what it is that you are telling them, or like fully understanding it because of the complexity in the thing that you are doing. Again, I don't know what it is specifically that you were doing, so I'm just gonna leave it here. But hopefully this part made sense to you, pile number one. And if it did, if you could resonate with this part, then definitely stay tuned, because now we're getting to the really, really exciting part. And I have not done this in any of my readings ever. So I'm so excited to see what we find out for you, because now we get to the mystery messages part. And the way that we're going to go about this is really cool. We are first going to shuffle a card from this oracle deck, which is going to give us like a category of sorts. And then intuitively, I'm going to be forming a question based on that card, which we're then going to be answering with tarot cards. And we're going to get 3 categories and thus 3 questions that we're going to get messages for. And so these categories are going to be the ones that Spirit deems most important for you to hear right now, or that Spirit wants to highlight for you. So we are getting, yeah, it's maybe a bit complicated. I hope that I explained it okay. But anyway, let's just get into it. And then as we go along, you'll be able to see what the deal is. So let's see, what is the first category that Spirit wants you to find out about? Okay, we have friendly creature as the category. So, based on this card, I feel like the intuitive question is where you can find support at this time, or what sort of support do you need at this time? So it definitely feels like this first category is looking at support. So let's see what we have. Okay, interesting. So we got the 2 of Swords in reverse with the 8 of Wands and the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. So again, some of the zodiac signs that I love bringing out in case you resonate with them. We have heavy Cancer coming through with the High Priestess energy, but Pisces could also be significant. We have some Libra with the 2 of Swords, and we have some Sagittarius with the 8 of Wands. Okay. So with the 2 of Swords in reverse and the 8 of Wands, this feels very clearly about communication and, again, connection with other people, because especially with the 8 of Wands, this can be about messages and information, and like especially like quick messages coming in. But with the 2 of Swords in reverse, this feels like a bit of a tap on the shoulder to like ask you to come out of this space of aloofness, because the 2 of Swords can talk about being somewhat removed from reality and from like the rest of the world in order to like get into more of a clear state within yourself. But because the card is coming out in reverse, it feels like you may have been doing that for quite a while already, or maybe it's not really serving you anymore, and that's why it's coming out in reverse. So it just feels like the message here is to kind of nudge you towards opening up more and maybe turning a fraction of that laser-like focus on your social interactions and on your relationships as well. because I do feel like, especially because of this Scales card, that the message of balance seems to be very, very important here, and especially like the lack thereof. So even though this is amazing what you are doing, and even though this is, you know, great that you are putting so much focus into this and you are so driven and motivated, but I also feel like there could be this sense of like, you know, like danger of burnout that seems to be coming through very, very strongly, or that, you know, you could just be getting to a point at one time where you are not really in love with that subject anymore. You're not really passionate about that subject anymore, because, you know, when you do too much of something too intensely and you don't like balance it out, it is possible to actually find yourself at a place where you are like sick of that thing and you don't want to see that thing anymore. So I just feel like there is this message of needing to potentially open up more to other people, again, to like try and communicate more with people and sort of really find that like genuine connection, because we also have the High Priestess here at the bottom of the deck, which does seem to hint at, again, like you possibly being a bit of a mystery to people, being a bit like hard to reach or hard to connect with, hard to understand. And again, this is in no way, you know, saying that you are doing something wrong, or this is not like a criticism. It's just pointing at the fact that there could be certain imbalances in place, and they could be like not the best for you, and especially not the best for your mental health. I feel that's very strongly with the Two of Swords in reverse here. So that is just something to consider. But I also feel like just the energy of talking about, again, some of these things that you are learning, some of these things that you are doing, like just having a conversation about those things with someone else, it could end up like helping you to absorb that information more quickly, or like more deeply, as you sort of have to vocalize the things that you are like trying to memorize or understand. It like really helps you to grasp that subject more fully, and maybe even like speed up the process as well of you getting that like full understanding, or getting to a new level of skill set or something like that. With the Ace of Wands, it seems like you could really sort of speed up the process and get to your goal more quickly if you actually like put it into some sort of practice, rather than just like being in your little cocoon and having your nose in the books, or just being in the theory of it, you know? So yeah, just like talking with someone about those things could be really beneficial here. And I just also feel like in general, moving around, doing certain activities that like would get you again out of this space, especially to get your like body moving, because I understand that it could be difficult to like shut your brain off, but as you are moving your body, it is much more easy to actually like tune your brain out, and also like tire your body out as well physically, so that it would be easier for you to fall asleep at the end of the night and things like that. So yeah, movement seems to be a big support here for you potentially. But let's look at the second category that Spirit wants you to focus on. Okay, interesting. We have hit the road. Okay, so I feel like this card is hinting at a question around what you should expand upon. You know, like where you could potentially move in a new direction. Yeah, so what you should expand upon. Let's see. Okay. Oh, interesting. So we got some quite heavy hitting cards here. Nothing to worry about though, because even like heavy hitting cards can have neutral or sometimes positive meanings as well. So, you know, don't get alarmed if you are familiar with tarot cards. So we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Devil in reverse, and we have the Nine of Swords. So we have heavy Gemini energy coming through with both of these Swords cards, and we have some Capricorn with the Devil. Okay, so I am definitely getting more of a specific message, but I don't know, maybe that's just meant for this pile, to be more specific. But I'm definitely getting the message of like possibly allowing your fears to hold you back, in the sense that some of you could be so like afraid of failing in like practical terms that you are constantly learning more and expanding more on like the theory part. I don't know, buying more books, or signing up for more courses, or you know, like trying to constantly keep studying and getting better and better and better, but like better on paper. And I feel like behind it there could be this fear of like actually failing, or making a grave mistake or something like that when it comes to actually putting something into practice or using it practically. So I feel like that's why this 10 of Swords and the Devil in reverse is here, because I feel like Spirit is asking you to expand beyond just the theory part and try to actually start doing that thing, right? So let's say that, like, I'm just going to use tarot cards for an example, right? Because it's just the easiest thing to use at this point. So let's say that you are intent on studying or learning how to read tarot cards. And so the way you could be going about it is by like reading as many books as you possibly can, possibly also doing certain like courses online, or signing up for certain like certifications and things like that. But then maybe you don't actually do tarot readings in practice very much, or you only do them for yourself, and you have this fear of actually doing them for other people. You know, so it's like you get all of the theory part, but none of the like putting it into practice part, which actually teaches you the most. And so I feel like that is what you should really be expanding upon, is trying to do less of the mental stuff, even though obviously the mental stuff is important. Theory is important. Understanding what it is that you are doing and having the principles down is important. But then finally, like the biggest thing that will help you to develop and to grow in leaps and bounds is by actually doing the thing, right? Taking action. And so that's why I feel like all of these swords cards are here, and the devil in reverse as well, because it seems to be that fear is the thing that is debilitating. It seems to be something internal, especially with the 9 of swords over here, which does seem to indicate certain anxieties or insecurities, or just a level of overthinking things. So yeah, that is, as I said, a very specific message that seems to be coming through. And I don't necessarily find or feel like there is anything else to add over here. So let's see what is the third and final category that Spirit wants to emphasize for you. Wow. Okay, we have confusion. So based on this card, intuitively the question that I'm getting is, what is the main source of confusion for you at this time? So let's see. Okay, interesting. So we have some Cups cards coming out. So heavy water sign energy. Those would be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And we have the most emphasis on Cancer and Scorpio. So clearly with all of these Cups cards coming out, I feel like Spirit is really highlighting relationships kind of again. Because we have the 4 of Cups and the 2 of Cups, which, by the way, in between these two cards, there is another energy of the 2 of Cups. So the 2 of Cups is a very, very specific and a very emphasized energy here. But I feel like because we're looking at confusion, right? What is the source of confusion for you? I feel like the reason why confusion is being highlighted here is because it seems to be something that is like hindering you, or again, kind of slowing down the process. It's kind of creating more issues for you rather than helping you to, you know, move forward with more ease. And so clearly relationships seem to be the focus of confusion for you right now. With these two cards specifically, it could be that you are finding it hard to, again, feel that emotional connection with other people as well. So it's not just that other people are having a hard time connecting with you. You could be feeling it you could be feeling quite difficult as well when it comes to that, or maybe even feeling, especially with the Four of Cups, kind of unfulfilled by certain connections or relationships in your life right now. And it could be that you don't have the mental capacity, or maybe even like the spiritual, emotional, physical capacity to deal with that, because again, obviously something else is taking up so much of your resources. So it could be something that is kind of just like at the back of your mind, but you are not necessarily actively addressing it. So you could be experiencing kind of like these lackluster relationships, or just relationships where you don't necessarily feel too much support, or where it's just difficult to connect and see eye to eye, especially because it's kind of interesting that we're getting the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck, because this is indicating that something has happened within a very important relationship to you, because the Two of Cups indicates that there is some sort of connection. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it definitely is a connection that means a lot to you, where people have deep emotional investments, or, you know, where there is just something kind of at stake. You know, it's like, it's not like a willy-nilly, oh, I know this person from somewhere. It's actually like the meeting of minds, hearts, or souls even. So, you know, it does seem to be a relationship that has some deeper attachments in it. And with the Five of Cups, it's clear that like something happened in the past that caused a disruption in that relationship. Someone's trust was broken. Again, it's kind of taking me back to like this initial, more specific message of some of you could have found out about something that a person that you used to trust, or that you used to be very close with, did. And so, you know, that trust could be broken, or you could be finding it hard to trust that person again, right? Or connect with them in like a very vulnerable or meaningful way. So it seems like that sort of relationship disconnect is definitely adding to this level of mental pressure. And I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed, because otherwise it wouldn't be here, that the cards wouldn't be emphasizing this. So I feel like Spirit really wants you to address, even though I do understand it's a lot easier said than done, especially if there is already so many things on your plate. But I feel like Spirit really wants you to like take the time to figure out what is happening within this relationship, whether you want to continue this relationship, whether you want to mend it, or whether it would be like impossible for you to forgive and forget what happened. Or, you know, even if you can't forget what happened, even if it's just difficult for you to forgive, or if you find it impossible to forgive, then that is also like a problem that needs to be dealt with at one point, right? So it just feels like this connection and the sort of apathy or distance that is existent within that relationship right now, that seems to be something that is adding to this level of like mental stress on you. And so I feel like that's why Spirit is highlighting the importance of actually like dealing with it, or talking it through, right? So anyway, these were the mystery messages and the mystery topics that Spirit really wanted you to hear right now. So hopefully they were of use to you, and hopefully they spoke to you in some capacity. But the last part of the reading is going to be a supportive affirmation from Spirit, from this Oracle deck. I used it in my last reading too. I love these cards. So we're going to be using them again today. So let's see what sort of support Spirit has for you. Okay, I feel like we got these two that were kind of protruding out. Wow, I really want to start off with the underlying energy. This says, don't allow your worry to waste your time. I actually love this message because it is taking me right back to the message around where you should expand, or where you could expand. So because we had all of this like mental worry and anxiety and overthinking and being unsure of yourself, all of that was coming through. And so I feel like this is kind of a spot on message regarding that, you know, that don't allow worry to waste your time, because it is really a waste of time, right? It doesn't actually help you in any single way. So yeah, I really love that message for you. So the first message that you have is keep your door open to new experiences. And I absolutely love that message for you, because I feel like this whole reading has been about you kind of being in that rabbit hole or being really, really sucked into something and, you know, having a very narrow focus. And so that could be, as I said, it could be a very positive thing, but at the same time, it could also, you know, kind of box you in as well and maybe shut you out or shut out certain possibilities that could be around you. And so I feel like that's why this message is here, that Spirit is urging you to, just kind of maybe keep an open mind and again, try to balance out your life, right? So that it wouldn't be all about this one thing and that it wouldn't be like completely consuming and that you would still find time and energy for other things, right? And we also have, in times of darkness, you can always find the light. So again, I really love this message for you, pile number one. I don't know, I mean, I love all of these messages in this deck because they're so, so sweet, but I just feel like this is such a beautiful consolation that even if you are struggling, there are still certain things that you can find that would make this a more bearable situation or that could, you know, help or alleviate what it is that you're going through. Yeah, I feel like, again, I feel like the support is there, but it just may require you to kind of actively like seek it out or actively make an effort to connect with that support as well. But anyway, oh my goodness, pile number one, I am going to leave it here because I feel like this reading was again such a long one. I don't know what else to say. It seems like I am incapable of making short and succinct readings, but you know, it is what it is, right? We are who we are. So thank you so much, by the way, if you are still here, if you watched this reading all the way through, and if you found some value from this, then let's see, you can leave me a little apple emoji in the comment section. I would love to see who you are. I would love to connect with you and just, you know, seeing who all of these beautiful Soul Tribe members are who actually watch my readings all the way through and who, you know, really connect and resonate with these messages. It always warms my heart so much. So I love seeing that. But anyway, thank you for your beautiful presence. And I hope that this was useful, helpful, or at the very least entertaining to watch. And as always, I am wishing you all the best and hoping to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages, insights, and cool readings. So anyway, take care and bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number 2. My name is Helen and I am so excited to do this reading for you today because I have no idea what is in store for us. So let's get right into these cards. So you chose the Heart card, but we also have some pre-prepared oracle cards, which we're going to look at in just a bit. Because first I want to see what I'm picking up on from this card intuitively. So pile number 2, I am getting the sense that with this Heart card, you could be in a very emotional time at this time. You could be experiencing a lot of like very deep or very overpowering emotions and just your feelings kind of running the show in a way. So it almost feels like it could be difficult for you to like rationally handle certain things or think about things in a very thorough sense, because it just feels like whatever you are feeling at this time, it seems to be so strong that it almost like is clouding over everything else. You know, for some of you, these emotions that you are going through are not necessarily very positive, because I mean, this flame and this sword, they feel really like aggressive and kind of not the best things to have on your heart. Even though like just in a neutral sense, this card is not like, it's not like it doesn't have any like negative connotations just on its own, but I don't know why, but that's what I am sort of seeing, or that's what is jumping out at me from this card. Also, I'm looking at the mountains at the back, and so it just seems like you could be going through some like more difficult or some more like charged up feelings at this time. So maybe it's because of some anger that you are experiencing towards someone. Maybe someone like did something to you to like get you to that point, to get you really fired up. Maybe some of you are just having a lot of emotions because of something that you experienced, not necessarily that like someone did something to you, but just that something like happened to you. Like, you know, it wasn't anyone's fault. It's just that you went through something possibly even like traumatic as well. That may be more of a specific message, but I feel like some of you could have gone through something like quite traumatic. And I don't know why, but again, this is more of a specific message. I feel like some of you could have recently gone through some sort of like operation or like surgical procedure, and a quite serious one at that. And so you could be like trying to recover from that, or maybe you have just recently like come out of that and are trying to get back on your feet or something like that. But like maybe something happened there. I don't know. As I said, more of a specific message, so I'm detaching from that energy. But it just feels like, yeah, it just feels like something has got you fired up, and something has like really brought about this surge of emotion within you, and a very strong surge of emotion. Yeah, I don't know. Some of you could definitely be like wanting, like almost, I don't know, it sounds bad to say it, but you could be wanting like revenge or payback or something like that. It just feels like it's fueled by like real, I don't know, like wrath or anger, or like some sort of very, very heavy emotion like that, which again is so strange. I don't know why I'm picking up on that from this image. Yeah, it just feels like you could be trying to come to terms with something that has occurred, and it could be really difficult to do that, because I feel like maybe some of you actually got some news as well, or some piece of information that almost like has shattered something for you. Or yeah, I don't know, pile number 2. The thing that I'm feeling here though is that if you are just experiencing like same old, like same shit but different day type of energy, then this pile is definitely not for you. Because this feels very intense. I mean, even though like the fire and the like, I don't know, the sword and everything like that, all of this like intenseness could also be talking about you feeling very passionately towards someone. So like you know, if this is like a budding romance, or if you just came across someone who you find extremely physically attractive, and you find like you have a lot of desire or passion towards that person, then that may also explain why there is all of this like intense energy coming through. But as I said, I don't know why it feels more strongly like this is not like romantic love type thing. This seems more to be like you are so charged up by something that has happened, and you are finding it hard to like accept what has happened and to deal with all of these emotions. So anyway, that is just the intuitive part. So if this is still somewhat like not 100% for you, then don't worry. We're going to look at these oracle cards as well, the pre-prepared oracles that are going to tell us a bit about what it is that you're currently dealing with, what sort of energy you are experiencing. So let's see. Okay, interesting. So we have some intuitive cards. The first one is the card of leaves. Oh, wow. Yeah, we have skull and endings. Interesting. We have be open to receiving, and there are actually some roses on this card, which there are roses on this card as well. 2 specifically, but anyway. Okay, we have butterfly and metamorphosis. And then we have like a compass. Okay, so as I said, this pile feels a lot more specific. So if you are not really vibing with this energy, then yeah, you can try checking out other piles as well and see whether sorry, I can't speak, whether there are maybe other messages out there for you that you resonate with more. But anyway, let's get right into it, because it seems like you are in quite a turbulent state right now. We have this leaves card and we have this endings card. So the leaves card in and of itself is actually already hinting at something being let go, something being released. Now, with both of these cards together, this definitely feels, as I said, that something has happened that has sort of triggered this deep emotional response in you. Now, because of this endings specifically, this keyword, it feels like either someone decided to leave, or something was taken from you, or you lost something. Now, it doesn't have to specifically talk about a relationship, even though that is like the most sort of basic or easy interpretation in this instance. It could be, again, that something happened to you personally, that you lost. I don't know why this feels more of a specific message again, and I do have to put a disclaimer out there that I don't really read health-related issues because I'm not medically trained in that sense, so I don't have the skills or the knowledge to advise anyone like medically, right? So I don't do that, but I do have to say what I'm picking up on here, and so I do feel like I keep hearing like the loss of use, so. And for some reason specifically, I want to say legs. I don't know why, but I keep hearing legs. So maybe you, like some of you actually have experienced something like that, where you like lost the use of a body part, or again, like obviously this is a very, very specific message, so it might only resonate for like one of you out there, if even that. I don't know whether this is going to resonate, but it just feels like there was something that you lost, or something that was taken away from you, or something that you had to give up. So a lot of like potential ways that this could resonate. So I'm just gonna sort of leave it open like that and let you kind of put the details in place. But it definitely feels like, as I said, this is something that is like very hard to stomach. This is something that is very hard to accept, is kind of what I feel. And so that's why obviously this like very intense emotion is here, because it doesn't seem like it's something that you necessarily chose. This feels like this was kind of like a naturally progressing situation that you weren't necessarily part of, in the sense that you didn't have a say in the matter. Or even if you did, it like either was like overruled, or you couldn't really do anything to stop this. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that here. We also have this be open to receiving. And obviously, you know, this card is more of it has more of a romantic nature to it. So again, this could very well be talking about a relationship with someone for you, you know, whether this was like a breakup, or whether this was that, you know, someone just like left you out of the blue, or like moved out of the blue, or did something like out of the blue without necessarily talking it through with you, like that type of energy. It could very well be the case. But with this be open to receiving, it just feels like you are possibly trying to like understand, or trying to move forward from this situation. But I feel like it's, as I said, I feel like it's very difficult for you to do that. I mean, we also have this metamorphosis card. So clearly something is in the process of transforming in your life, and it seems to be a very significant transformation. So again, if we take the example of like a relationship, it could be that you were in a relationship and now you are single. It could be that you were married and now you are in the process of going through a divorce, or just going through a separation if you weren't like legally married, or things like that. Or maybe, you know, you, again, you know, I'm giving more of a specific message here, so just, you know, bear that in mind. But it's just an example. I'm not saying that this has to resonate for you in that specific way, but let's say that you were like an athlete, or you were into some sort of sports, and now something has happened and you have maybe had some sort of injury or something like that, where now you are not able to do that, or you're not able to play that sport anymore. Yeah, you know, there is some sort of like an adaptation that you are trying to go through with this metamorphosis, where it's like almost, again, it's almost like forced upon you, right? I feel this sense of like this process or the situation being pushed on you, and you not having too much say about it. We also have this compass image here. or just this kind of like this direction symbolism. So it does seem like you are trying to find your way forward, right? But it is very difficult to navigate, clearly, because all of the directions are still available to you and you don't exactly know which path to choose. Maybe there are even some pieces of information that you don't yet have, that you don't have the full clear picture, so you can't make the best decision. And in any case, again, it feels like you are so kind of deeply in that process of transforming, of changing, of moving from like one state or one lifestyle or one reality into another. And so it feels like you're very disoriented and you are trying to make sense of like what has even happened, where you are right now. And I feel like the aspect of where you are moving is kind of almost not even too much of an option right now, or you can't really put too much energy on it, because again, it seems to be that you are so consumed with still processing the emotions of everything that has occurred and the sort of the new reality that you find yourself in right now. And again, with this be open to receiving being like enclosed by this endings and metamorphosis card, which both like obviously very much cards hinting at like deep transformations, right? And just cycles of change. It does seem like you could be sort of finding yourself in a place where you are like wanting to like pull away from people, wanting to pull away from attention and just kind of like shutting down even. So even if there are some people around you who are maybe wanting to be there, who are wanting to show their support, who are wanting to like help you through this process, it definitely feels just intuitively that you maybe like kind of rejecting or pushing those people away, pushing that help away right now, because you just can't handle it. You just can't deal with it because it's all a bit too much, and you are still struggling to handle everything that you are internally processing without having the capacity to deal with like other people's energy and other people's emotions and all of that. So anyway, I am going to leave it here, pile number 2. Hopefully something resonated for you, or it made sense at the very least. And if that is the case, then definitely stay tuned. Sorry, I was just being sort of dragged back to the numbers, because we have number 22 over here with the butterfly. We have number 44 with the heart. And with the skull card, which is 29, it reduces down to 11, which you can actually see here as well on this card, that it says number 11. So we have some very heavy hitting like soul master number cards as well, with 11, 22 and 44. So with these repeating numbers, it again is making me feel that this is some sort of bigger, like this bigger happening on your sort of life journey as a whole. This seems to be a very like a groundbreaking moment, or something that you're most likely going to remember. This seems to be a bigger deal. Let's just say it like that. And I feel like that's why these numbers are being highlighted as well. But anyway, sorry. As I said, coming back to these mystery messages now, which is the most interesting part of this whole reading. That's why we are here, obviously. So the way that this is going to go is we're first going to get a category or subject. Maybe subject is a better word. We're going to get a subject that Spirit wants to highlight, which I'm then going to sort of feel my way through and see what sort of intuitive message I can formulate based on that subject. And then we're going to answer that question with some tarot cards, and we're going to do 3 rounds of that. So we're going to have 3 categories or subjects and some tarot cards to answer those questions, so that you could get the messages that Spirit deems most important for you right now. It maybe sounded a bit confusing, but as we get into it, I promise it is going to start making more sense. So let's see, what is the first subject that Spirit wants to highlight for you? Whoa. Okay. We have injustice. And okay. This card came out, but I'm only going to take 1 card, because otherwise it's just going to get a bit too confusing. But I'm going to just remember that we had this Together card, which came out in reverse, clearly indicating that this could be talking about a contract, an arrangement, an agreement, or a relationship of some kind. So, okay, but we have injustice as the main focus of the first subject. So intuitively, I feel like we should look into what sort of injustice have you experienced. So let's try and get some more details in or regarding that, because obviously with this card coming out or this subject or theme, I feel like Spirit really wants to emphasize the importance of what hasn't been handled necessarily fairly, or what has been done wrong. Actually, I feel like that is an even better question. So what has been done wrong in this instance? Let's see. Okay. So interesting. So we have the Three of Wands, which came out in reverse. We also have the Ten of Swords, and we have the Ace of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to point out some of the zodiac signs in case you resonate with them yourself or you recognize them around you. If you don't, that's fine as well, but sometimes it can help. So we have some heavy fire sign energy with both the Ace and the Three of Wands, and specifically Aries is coming through here most strongly, but Leo and Sag could also be significant. And with the Ten of Swords, we have Gemini. I honestly don't know who is going to be resonating with this, because this just feels so specific. So I'm not sure why these messages are coming through, but anyway, sorry, getting back to the subject at hand. So we have the Ace of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. And what this is telling me is that there has been some sort of potential that has been either like snuffed out or ended or terminated or eliminated or something like that. So, you know, whether this was the potential for, again, a relationship or for a future with someone else, whether this was even just like future aspirations that you may have had regarding what it is that you do for a living, or some sort of passion that you have, because obviously we're dealing with the Wands suit here. So clearly there is the thing that has been taken away from you, or the sort of the injustice that you have suffered, has to do with something that meant a lot to you, right? Something that caused a lot of, like, stirred a lot of passion, or stirred a lot of like deep emotion and possibly attachment as well. I don't know. Yeah, that just came through there. But with the Three of Wands in reverse and the Ten of Swords, this is clearly saying that someone took away the future, because the Three of Wands, when it comes out in reverse, this is hinting at not really having a forward-looking plan, or there is no growth or no like expansion possible, especially with the Ten of Swords, because something has been terminated. The Ten of Swords is like dead, done, over with type energy. There is no coming back from the Ten of Swords. There is no mending or re-establishing something. This is kind of like brutally ending something. And so with the Three of Wands, it just feels like there was some sort of future plans or future visions that you maybe had. Maybe you were even working towards those things actively. Again, you know, if we're talking about a relationship, maybe you were planning for a family. Maybe you were planning to build a house together. Maybe you were already, you know, maybe you already had certain things in motion to like build a future with someone, or to really, again, like take the relationship to the next level. But then with the Ten of Swords, it feels like a very abrupt ending, or a very abrupt betrayal, or someone like kind of pulling the rug out from under your feet. So like it again, I'm getting this message of like someone making a decision for you, someone doing something that impacts you and your future clearly, very strongly here, eliminating certain options from your future without having talked it through, or without having asked for your permission or your opinion. So yeah, this feels really really heavy stuff, pile number 2. And if this is you, I just want to say that I so empathize with you, and I am so sorry that you have gone through this and that you are experiencing this. Yeah, that's kind of all that I can say, really. But let's look forward now. Let's look ahead. Let's look at the second theme or subject that Spirit wants to highlight. Oh, interesting. We have the friendly creature. So let's look at what can help or support you during this time. Okay, thank you. So we have the Nine of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Swords in reverse. So heavy air sign energy coming through this time. So especially Gemini, by the way, because with the Nine of Swords, there is more Gemini energy, and the Knight of Swords is specifically Gemini energy as well. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands, which is more fire energy. So air and fire seem to be very, very significant here. You could have a lot of placements in those signs. So specifically Gemini, but obviously Aquarius or Libra could also be significant. And Aries, very important, or Aries coming through very heavily as well. But Leo and Sag, once again, could be important too. Pile number 2, I just have to put it out there that if you were drawn to pile number 1 as well, even just a little bit, then you may want to check that pile out as well. Even though the messages are like very much different, I just feel, okay, this was so strange right now. I think there was a massive bee that was just like, that just bumped into my window, and that like almost wanted to fly in, and then now they have gone. But there was a very loud thud as they hit the window. So I don't think that you heard it on camera, but it was just the strangest thing right now. Anyway, maybe bees are important as well. Maybe that is like a symbol or something like that. Or maybe it's further confirmation that you were stung by something or someone. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting so sidetracked. So if you were drawn to pile number 1, even just a little bit, then you may want to check it out, because there could be certain messages there for you that you resonate with. But as I said, those two piles are completely different in their energy and in the messages, but there are some like repeat cards coming through. So maybe that is something for you. But we're looking at how, or like what could help or support you right now. And with the Nine of Swords and the Knight of Swords both coming out in reverse, I'm going to show you the images up, right? So it would be more interesting for you to look at these images. But both of these cards coming out in reverse are saying that this lack of clarity could be stemming from kind of you being alone with your thoughts, or not really having an outlet for what it is that you are going through internally, especially with the Nine of Swords. When it comes out in reverse next to the Knight of Swords like this, it feels like, yeah, like there is a lot of suppressed fears or a lot of suppressed anxiety that you are not necessarily letting out. And I feel like it is starting to kind of accumulate, or like make things even worse. You know how we can sometimes spin these tales in our minds, and we can really get sucked into like this vortex of darkness and like go to some really, really dark places within ourselves. I feel like that's kind of what these cards are saying here. And so it seems to be important to actually find an outlet for them, because the Page of Wands is here to let you know there is some way to either like release that pressure through communication, possibly, because the Page of Wands is a messenger. So, you know, if there is someone that you do trust, someone that is around you who wants to help you, who has, you know, your best interest at heart, who you know is a trustworthy person, then just talking with them, and even if it's just venting and allowing these emotions to come out, I feel like that could be really, really helpful. And I feel like that's potentially why these messages are here, or why these cards are here. The Spirit really wants to highlight the importance of finding an outlet, and obviously recommendedly a positive outlet, or a constructive outlet for these feelings and these thoughts that you are going through. But the Page of Wands, like if you don't necessarily want to talk about these things with someone, then it can just indicate that there could be certain activities, even if it's like small activities, that would help you to get out of that funk, or to at least, again, find a way to relieve some of that pressure that you are feeling internally. So if it's something that you can do physically, like, I don't know, exercising or joining a new activity group or something like that, right? Maybe it's some sort of, you know, if it is possible for you to like play sports and do things like that, then joining a sport that you would like, or that you find enjoyable, that could really help. Or even if it's like, if that is a like too big of a step than even taking little walks every now and then to get yourself into like the fresh air, to get yourself out of your house or out of your usual sort of surroundings, and just to, again, to get that energy moving, to get yourself out of that funk. Because with all of this Swords energy, it's clear that there is a lot of strain on you internally specifically, and that seems to be something that you do need help with. Otherwise this theme wouldn't be showing up. So yeah, I feel like there is some release that is needed. But let's look at the third and final theme or subject or category. Okay, also, again, this may be more of a specific message, but I just quickly want to go back to this Nine of Swords and Knight of Swords. If you are trying to like find out about like specifically who is to blame for what happened, or to find a reason behind it or something like that, even though for some reason I feel more like it's this urge to place blame or something like that. Again, this is not a criticism, right? This is a very human reaction to have when you have suffered something or something has been done to you. Then it's very human to want to see certain consequences, because obviously even with this injustice here, something has been done wrong, or you have been done wrong. But because both of these cards are coming out in reverse, I just feel like Spirit is highlighting how like possibly detrimental that is to you, or it's just like kind of taking up your resources without necessarily giving you what it is that you were after. So if you were trying to like find out why this person dumped you, or why they cheated on you, or why someone made the decision that they did, then I feel like you are not going to get that answer. Or even if you are going to get an answer, I feel like it's not going to give you that level of satisfaction. It's not going to do anything for you. And so that's why I feel like if you are in like active pursuit of finding out the truth behind something, or finding out certain details, certain information, then I feel like Spirit is kind of kindly asking you to stop doing that. I mean, if you feel like you need to find out exactly the details of what happened, obviously it's your choice. You have free will and you can do whatever you want. But based on these messages, it just feels like Spirit is really emphasizing how it's possibly not the best thing for you, and it is not going to help you in the way that you maybe think that it is. So just something to consider, just food for thought. Again, it is ultimately your choice. You are the master of your life and how you end up acting in certain situations. So you can do with this information what you will, but that is something that was also coming through. But let's move on. Let's look at the third and final subject. Oh my God, we actually have some bees. This is insane. Sorry, I was just having a moment to myself because this is insane. Yeah, anyway, that whole bee situation just now or just before kind of, I don't know, it's crazy. So we have work that came out in reverse. With this card, I kind of intuitively feel like we should look into where you should kind of relax more, or stop putting in so much effort. Where should you relax more? Okay, interesting. Interesting. So we are getting the Fool in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So yeah, we're getting quite a lot of reversals actually, which just indicates that there is an imbalance in energies. So again, it's nothing like bad, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing that there are so many reversals. I know some people get freaked out about it, but yeah, it's just indicating certain blocks or imbalances. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups coming out. So zodiac sign wise, we have some Capricorn coming out with the Queen of Pentacles specifically. With the Fool card, Aries again could be significant, or Aquarius as well, because this is a card of Uranus. And with the Three of Cups, we have some Cancer coming out. So pile number 2, with the Fool and the Queen of Pentacles coming out in reverse, it feels like Spirit is saying that the best way for you to kind of relax and to possibly find some relief from these really like charged up energies, right? Because that's ultimately what we are trying to achieve, you know, to see whether there is anything that you can do to like get out of this stressful and highly emotional state more quickly. With the Fool and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here, again, I'm going to show you the images upright. It could be hinting at certain like impulsivity or recklessness, especially with the Fool in reverse. With the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it just feels like it's talking about using your resources quite recklessly. So again, resources doesn't necessarily have to be money, even though that could be the case as well. But it's also talking about your time. It's talking about your focus. It's talking about, you know, just your energy in general, what it is that you invest in. Spirit is urging you to kind of ease up on that and to try and take yourself out of that restless energy of wanting to do something, of wanting to react immediately, of wanting to seek justice or like take action in a very like impulsive or reactionary way, if that makes any sense. And obviously, like, this is not saying that you can't fight for what you believe that you are either owed, or that you can't fight for what you believe to be right, or standing up for yourself or something like that. It's not saying that. It's just kind of saying that it maybe isn't going to produce necessarily the results that you want. And it may be just like kind of adding to the stress levels right now. Because with the Three of Cups, it just feels like what like Spirit is urging you to focus on, or what Spirit is saying that you need most of right now, is actually just like good relationships, or people that you trust, people that you have fun with, people that give you good energy, that inject you with good vibes, essentially, right? People who uplift you, who see you for who you are, who love you for who you are, and who are there to like support you during this time. The Three of Cups is a very relaxed, a very chilled back, a very pleasure focused or enjoyment focused energy. So I feel like with these cards, Spirit is really urging you to find that sense of joy, that sense of togetherness, like where you can find support, or where you can find like you belong, like tuning into that energy more, especially when it comes to, again, things that can even like take your mind off of what has happened, even if it's just for a little bit, you know, finding these little pockets of like distraction. And I know, you know, usually people don't necessarily like the word distraction because it has a bit of a bad connotation. But I feel like in this case, it is something that would allow you to kind of get rid of that like highly charged up emotion, even if it's just for a time. So just doing things that make you feel better, doing things that help you to heal and help you to focus on like positive things, uplifting things, things that I'm also like optimistic regarding the future, and focusing on the opportunities or the options that you do have around you, rather than like what was taken away or what you have lost or something like that, right? Like just switching that focus to more of that, like what is available to you now and what is available to you in the future. That seems to be something that would help you a lot more in this instance. That's what is coming through here. So yeah, plus I also feel like being more in that positive, uplifting energy, I feel like it would also help you actually to open up to more of these like new directions, or new people, new situations, you know, new circumstances, everything like that, which again, obviously I do understand that it's a lot easier said than done, especially when you are in the thick of it, especially when you are still trying to process everything that has happened. And again, I fully empathize with you, pile number 2, and I'm sending a massive hug out there to you if this is you, if this is what you are going through and experiencing. But yeah, I also feel with like these positive cards, and again these cards that are hinting at the future, that Spirit is saying that you do still have a future. There is new opportunities available to you, and things are going to start lightening up at one point. Things are going to start turning around and becoming a bit more positive again. It obviously just takes some time, and that's okay. Yeah, just surrounding yourself with good people, good energies is a way for you to possibly get through that period quicker. So again, just food for thought. But pile number 2, those were the mystery messages that Spirit really wanted to highlight for you and what you needed to know more about. So let's close the reading out with some supportive affirmations from Spirit regarding your reading. So I love using this Oracle deck. I used it in my last reading as well. And it's just full of really, really sweet, positive messages. So let's see what we can get for you. Okay. Interesting. You are getting quite a lot of cards, but we are taking all of them. I am just going to show you the underlying energy as well. At the bottom of the deck, we have don't rush yourself. There's joy in the journey. I feel like this is kind of, you know, tying up everything that we have been talking about. And obviously this is a process and it is going to take time. And I mean, even though it says there's joy in the journey, I do feel like at this time it could be difficult for you to find the joy in that, which is again so human and so normal. But I feel like you are going to be finding value with everything that you are experiencing and going through at one point down the line, even if it's like really in the future. Because sometimes like our biggest sufferings or our biggest traumas and things that we go through that are really, really, really hard to handle at the time of them happening, they can end up being like the most life-changing or like the biggest blessings for us down the line, like kind of like a blessing in disguise, right? When something is taken away and we don't want to let it go necessarily, it can end up leading us to something way, way better that we just couldn't see while we were in that energy, right? So anyway, let's see what we have. Any challenges you're facing can be overcome. Pile number 2. I really love that message for you because again, I feel like Spirit is just re-emphasizing that you are stronger than you think you are. And everything that you are going through right now, even though it may feel like it is the end, like it is the biggest thing, right? It actually isn't. I feel like you are going to be coming out of this and you're going to get through this. That's what Spirit is saying here. We also have now is the time to explore and discover who you really are. I love this message because again, like when we are going through some hardships, when we're going through certain traumatic experiences, it actually gives space and time to really dig into like these deeper layers within ourselves, to really ask ourselves these difficult questions and really find out about like the deeper aspects of ourselves, like who we really are, right? Because that's what ultimately comes out in like truly challenging times. That's when we can see what we are truly made of. So yeah. Oh, and as we were talking about that, the next card is make time for meaningful contemplation. I do feel like you are in like, you know, very much in a space where you are trying to analyze and go through everything that is happening and has happened and that you are experiencing. But I feel because this is talking about meaningful contemplation that, again, it's possibly advisable to not dwell too much on all of the things that have happened or that you can't change, that you don't have control over anymore, and try and really like find some sort of like peace or understanding or resolution or clarity within yourself, right? Like how you can find internal peace, even though again, I understand that it can be very difficult to do that. But this is kind of giving me like hermit vibe energy as well. You know, anyway, the last card that you have is keep your door open to new experiences. Oh my goodness. Again, this is a repeating card from the previous pile. So there are certain overlaps definitely. But with this, again, you know, I feel like Spirit is just further re-emphasizing that new opportunities are going to be arriving. You are going to have new experiences and life is still going to surprise you in positive ways. But it just kind of requires a bit of an open mind and an open heart. So even if it takes time, I know that you can get there, pile number 2. But anyway, oh my goodness, what a reading, what a roller coaster this was. Again, I have no idea whether this reading resonates for anyone out there, because as I said, this was so very specific at times, and I don't know whether this was helpful to anyone. But if you are still here, by the way, if you have made it all the way through and you found some meaning from this reading, please leave me a hot air balloon emoji in the comment section so that I could see you in the comment section and really like connect with you, because I love seeing my true soul family members here on YouTube who who really show me support in that sense. It means the world. So thank you so much if that's you. Anyway, I am wishing you all the best, and I hope to see you very soon, next Friday, back on this channel for some more videos, more insights, more messages. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number 3. My name is Helen, and I am so thrilled to do this reading for you today. I am so excited to see what comes out for you. But let's get into this card first, because with the pre-prepared oracle cards, which is the norm on my channel, we're going to look at those in just a bit. Right now I want to focus on this card that you chose to see what is intuitively coming through. But pile number 3, you chose the coin card. And for some reason, I am feeling this very strong, exchange of energies coming through with this. So, energy could be anything. It could be very literally money. There could be a lot of expenses that you have right now. So that could be the thing for someone. More specifically like that, or more literally like that. But in general, energy can be anything, right? It can also be your affection, it can also be your energy, it can be your health, it can be your time, it can be your knowledge or your skill set. It can really be anything that you have to give. So it seems like you are very much focused on some sort of transactionary energy right now. So if this is not specifically talking about you having to either spend a lot of money on something or you having a lot of expenses at this time, maybe this is talking about a lot of, I don't know, a lot of chores or a lot of things that you have to do around the house. Maybe there is a lot going on right now with your living space, and you just have you have to put a lot of your energy and effort into organizing certain things, or decluttering certain things, or refurbishing, or setting certain areas up in your house, or something like that. If this is talking about your relationships, then maybe there is just a lot of demand on your attention right now. Maybe there are all of these people who are just coming out of the woodworks, and suddenly everyone is talking to you, everyone is DMing you, everyone is emailing you, everyone is calling you, and it's like there is so much demand on your attention and your focus that is just this constant back and forth, or you constantly have to deal with someone, or constantly have to deal with someone's problems, or just listen to them and communicate with them. Maybe this is talking about your interests, or things that you want to do, and that there could be so many different things that you want to do. Also, there is just, I don't know, maybe you are actually investing, it could be a mixture of both. Maybe you're actually investing money in certain things that you want to do or that you are interested in at this time. Maybe you are trying to go deeper with a hobby, or maybe you are trying to take up a certain hobby. Maybe this is talking about you needing to do a lot of things at work. Maybe there are so many work tasks that you keep getting piled on you. Maybe you have to invest more hours into your work, or maybe you have to spend certain nights at home going over work stuff as well, or just taking on more responsibilities or taking on more tasks because someone is either ill, or someone is on holiday, or someone has been fired or let go, or something like that. It just feels like there is so much that you are having to spend some of your resources on. Again, whatever those are for you. It just seems like there is this intense back and forth. I don't know why I'm feeling that, but you could be running yourself a bit haggard, because there just seems to be so many demands on you, pile number 3. And again, some of you, you could have chosen this, or some of you could be doing this deliberately. So again, if you have a lot of things that you need to take care of, a lot of things that you need to buy. Let's say maybe because you are refurbishing your home. So it's kind of like a choice, right? To spend a lot of your money or to spend a lot of time picking out the certain pieces that you need and thinking about all of the design and the placement of things and everything like that, right? If that's something that you are doing, then this is obviously like intentional for you. But it could also be kind of like unintentional, where there is just like so much that you are being bombarded with outside of you that you're just sort of trying to handle as you go along. And it could be starting to get a bit taxing, because for some reason I'm feeling like there is this either like this reserve of resources that you have is like lessening, it's shrinking. So you're kind of reaching a sort of a critical point. Again, it doesn't have to be money specifically. This can also talk about you feeling like you don't have that much energy left, or you may be starting to feel like your health is starting to suffer because of it, or something like that. Or your sleep quality is starting to suffer because of it, or your relationships are starting to suffer because of everything that you are doing. Also, how much like energy you are pouring out. So it just seems like there is this notion of like priorities or prioritization that is also coming through, where maybe this is getting to a point where you are having to start prioritizing something, or thinking about starting to prioritize something, because it's almost like you can't do it all anymore, or at least like keep this up for a very long period of time. It doesn't feel sustainable, whatever this thing is that is demanding so much from you. But if this is kind of confusing, or you are not 100% sold on this, then don't fret, don't be alarmed, because we are going to look at some oracle cards. So this was purely the intuitive part. Now we are looking at the oracle cards, which are going to paint us more of a picture about what is the current energy that you are in, what it is that you are dealing with. So let's see. Okay, we have a butterfly, or some butterflies coming through. We have relationships with not, not surprising to see this. Oh my goodness, we have sacrifices. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, I'm just like surprised to see these cards, because I'm seeing them for the first time, just like you are. These cards have been picked intuitively and blindly, so I didn't know what these cards were before this very moment. We also have mountains and obstacles. Okay, and we have a musical note. So pile number 3. With the first card out, with this butterflies image, it is very clear that you are definitely like in the process of changing something. You are definitely in the process of trying to like get something to take off, or trying to elevate something. Again, this can be talking about relationships very clearly, because we have the card here literally, right, which says relationships. But this can also just talk about, again, whatever sort of life area this is most resonant in or at for you. Sorry, my English is massively failing me today, so please bear with me as I try and stumble my way through these messages. But it just seems like you are trying to elevate whatever this area of life is for you specifically. So with the butterfly, it does seem like there are certain sort of changes that you are going through, or certain processes that you are upgrading, or something that you are dealing with. I'm going to come back to this relationships card, because I first want to jump to this obstacles card, which is kind of telling me that obviously there could be certain like delays or certain setbacks that you are experiencing as well. And so maybe that's why you have to put all of this effort or energy into it. Maybe that's why this intense like energy exchange is coming through. Because it feels like it does seem to be kind of difficult to establish this new system, or to go through this change, or to go through this elevation process. I just heard streamline, so some of you could be trying to streamline something as well. And I'm kind of, again, jumping ahead here, looking at the final card with this musical note. So it could be that you're trying to harmonize, or again, make something more easy, make something more fluent. And so maybe that's why you are working so hard to get to this point. But clearly with this obstacles, it doesn't seem to be smooth sailing. It seems to be something that is bringing up issues for you, and that seems to be somewhat taxing on you, like we were already talking about. But with this relationships, it definitely seems like you you know, that your relationships are changing. It feels like there could be even certain obstacles that you are experiencing within your relationships because of this space of like intense energy exertion that you are going through. And again, with both of these cards, it definitely feels like you could be experiencing certain like misunderstandings within relationships as well, or where there could be things like not really going according to plan. Maybe people are like changing things at the last minute, or certain arrangements or certain agreements that you have made beforehand are being like reworked, or someone is changing something in the like at the last minute or something like that. And again, I do feel like, especially if this is talking about something that you are doing for work, or something that you are doing because you want to like I don't know, launch a business or establish some sort of entrepreneurship, or some sort of project, or something that you want to create, something like artsy or creative like that, because obviously with the musical note here, some of you could be doing that as well, or at least you could be focused on something that is creative or artistic in some way. If that is you, like let's say that you are trying to write a book, or trying to, I don't know, write a play, whatever, right? Obviously, it does take so much time and energy from you, and you have to, especially if you want to get it published, you have to talk to a lot of different people, and like editors and people who would give you like feedback on the book, and like, you know, let you know how it's going, and whether, you know, you should change anything. And so obviously, if you want to get it published, there are all of these. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, so I'm just putting it out there. But obviously, with everything about like how the cover design is going to turn out, and who is going to design the cover, and like there are so many moving parts to this, and even like getting the publishing house to agree to publish your story or your book. There is so many like stressful moments included in that, and there is so much work that it takes. Like, not to mention that the process of actually writing something, right, or writing a book or writing a novel or something like that is so time consuming in and of itself, that it obviously like takes you away from your family, or it takes you away from your relationships. And I feel like that's why this sacrifices card is here too, because obviously this is hinting at you having to give up certain things, or make certain accommodations in order to again arrive at what it is that you want to arrive at, or what it is that you are trying to accomplish here. So clearly this seems to be taxing on not just yourself, but it also seems to affect certain other aspects of life for you. So you could be experiencing like people around you, especially your loved ones or your committed relationships, that there are certain like misunderstandings or certain arguments, or going through this bit of a more turbulent time because of how much you are having to put energy and effort into this thing that you are so focused on. Again, even if it's something as mundane as just like trying to get all of your bills paid, and trying to create a budget, or trying to focus on things like running smoothly in your household, even that can be a source of like conflict with like your family members or with your partner. And there could be certain like disagreements regarding how money is being used, or what money is being spent on, and you are trying to do your best here in order to like make something work, or get yourselves to a better place. And I feel like, especially with the butterfly and this relationships combo here, the things that you are making these sacrifices for, even if you are actually sacrificing your time with your family and your loved ones, it is actually for them. Like the intention behind what it is that you are doing is so that you could offer a better life for your loved ones. So it seems like it's kind of a weird contradiction here in that sense, you know, that you are having to sacrifice something that you are actually trying to do this thing for. So yeah, clearly it just seems like at this time you are finding it difficult to find harmony, to find balance in your life right now. But at the same time, it seems like you are so very much focused on getting this end goal, like something that is at the background of all of this that you are doing, something that is driving you to make these sacrifices, to make these decisions, and to sort of do the best that you can at this time, even if you are being faced with like new challenges, new obstacles, new demands. So that is what is coming through here, pile number 3. Hopefully this made sense to someone out there. Oh, by the way, sorry, I just noticed again, the numbers, they are so strange how they are working out. So we have number 35 with this relationships card. We have number 53 with the sacrifices. So it's like 3553, right? They are like mirroring numbers. We have number 5 over here, and we have number 55 with the coin. So you essentially have 5 5s, right? Yeah, 5 5s. So the number 5 or 5555, like repeating number 5 could be a very significant message here for you. You could be seeing a lot of 5s, but also number 5s just numerologically indicate that there is a disruption to the status quo, that there is change and upheaval in the air. So it definitely seems like that is something that you are dealing with as well here. This is not like a normal thing for you. There seems to be a disruption in energies. But anyway, let's move on to the most important thing and the reason why you were even watching this reading to begin with. Let's look at the mystery message messages that Spirit wants you to know. So if you resonated with this part, keep on watching, because now the way that this is going to go is we're going to first get a theme or subject card to then like inspire an intuitive question that we're going to be answering with tarot cards, and we're going to do that 3 times. So if you just got really confused right now, don't worry, as we go along it is going to start making sense. So let's see, what is the first subject or theme that Spirit wants you to know more about? Whoa, okay, interesting. So we have secret revealed that came out in reverse. Okay, so I feel intuitively like we should look into something that you don't know right now. Something that is a crucial piece of information that either like is being held from you, or something that you are just not privy to, something that you are not seeing. This card is coming out in reverse, so it's like you don't have access, like the secret is not revealed, right? Something is being held from you. So let's see, what is it that you don't see right now? Oh, interesting. Okay, so we have the 4 of Wands in reverse with the 6 of Cups, and the 3 of Swords is coming out in reverse at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to point out some of the zodiac signs in case you resonate with them yourself or you recognize them around you. With the 4 of Wands, we have Aries energy. With the 6 of Cups, we have Scorpio, and with the 3 of Swords, we have Libra. This feels more of a specific message. So this feels like it's talking about the people who have potentially grown apart, or certain distance has developed within your like family dynamic, or your loved ones, or things like that. So if that is you, if you resonate with having this like somewhat growing distance between yourself and your loved ones, or your spouse, or maybe even your children, because we have the 6 of Cups here too. But it just feels like there is some sort of discord or disharmony within your relationships, potentially because of all of these demands upon you, right? I feel like what this is saying is that a very crucial piece of information that you maybe don't know is how much it is actually affecting your family members, or your spouse, or whoever this person or these people are that this is talking about right now. So most likely you will know exactly who this is if this is your reading, and you already know that there are some tensions, or there are some, that there is some distance that has developed between you and someone close to you. So it feels like with the 6 of Cups that there is this desire to like reconnect, so that you could become closer and that you could really open up and be like very, very vulnerable, because the 6 of Cups is a very vulnerable, a very heartfelt, a very genuine energy. But with the 4 of Wands in reverse, it feels like there is a kind of a turbulent foundation, and not a very steady foundation. So there could be a lot of fear regarding that, regarding like coming forward. But the 3 of Swords in reverse over here is indicating that there is some sort of potential fear of like losing you, or of things breaking apart, or things kind of going really, really wrong. So yeah, this could even indicate that someone has like either like abandonment issues, or some sort of traumatic event like that in the past, that they are that is still impacting them right now. So if this is the person close to you, if you recognize this as them, then I feel like this is doubly important to, like space that gap and actually connect with them and maybe reassure them that everything is okay, or try to, to try to at least let them know why you are doing these things, or kind of let them in on the energy and the intention behind everything, because it just feels like there could be certain fears that this person or these people around you are experiencing. And I feel like those could easily be alleviated, actually. And maybe even with this Three of Swords in reverse, maybe there is even like a potential to avoid like a really painful occurrence, or like hurting someone's feelings, or getting to a really, really difficult place with them, right? So yeah, this just seems like you could actually like avoid getting to that place if you were to just like potentially reach out and really talk about the things that are not being addressed, or that are creating this distance, or that are like causing issues or causing tensions or things like that. Because the Four of Wands in reverse is really just a bit of a breaking apart of like a solid foundation. But as I said, this feels more of like a specific message. But if this is like not talking to you in that regard, then I feel like these cards could also indicate that there could be someone that you maybe are not necessarily in very heavy contact with anymore, because the Four of Wands again seems to indicate that there isn't like active support or active connection here. But the Six of Cups feels like this person could help you. So there could be someone from your past, potentially. They don't have to be like a romantic partner or anything like that. They could even just be a friend, or someone that you used to go to school with, or someone that you used to get on with very well with, or someone who used to know you very well back in the day. And they may actually have like really good advice for you, or they could help you out with something, or they could actually make a difference for you in some sort of significant way. And again, with the Three of Swords in reverse, it feels like they could really help you with avoiding like burnout, or avoiding getting to this place where it's all just a bit too much, right? So yeah, again, I don't know, that is what is coming through here. And obviously this is talking about something that you don't see, or that you don't realize, or some sort of information that you didn't have. So now hopefully it makes a bit more sense to you, and makes it easier for you to connect with the people around you who actually do want to help. Let's move on to the second theme or subject that Spirit wants you to know more about. Okay, interesting. Getting all of these reversals. This is so interesting. So we have Mischief that came out in reverse. Okay, so I feel like with this card coming out in reverse, this is again indicating that there could be not that much joy and play and like childlike energy in your life right now, that it could be a bit too serious. So I feel like intuitively, the question that we should ask is, how can you bring back more of this like lighthearted energy, or where are you being a bit too serious? Let's see which one feels more important. Yeah, I feel like we should focus on like, where are you taking things a bit too seriously, where maybe like that is not necessarily warranted. Where are you taking things too seriously? Oh, perfect. We got exactly two. So we have the Empress and we have the Star. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hanged Man in reverse. So we have all major arcana cards. And the signs coming through here, we have very heavy Libra and Taurus. We have Aquarius with the Star, and we have Pisces with the Hanged Man. So with all of these major arcana cards, by the way, it does seem like this is hinting at some sort of like a more deeply underlying psychological influence here, or just something that is deeply rooted or more subconscious or something like that. But looking at the Empress and the Star, based like and answering the question, what are you maybe taking a bit too seriously, or where you are not having enough like lighthearted energy, that type of thing. It feels like both of these cards are talking about your desire to like take care of others, and especially with the Empress, create some sort of abundance and like, again, offer this like nurturing and accommodating energy to other people. Especially with the Star, it feels like you are trying to fulfill a wish of some kind. But I don't know why. Again, this is more of a specific message, but it feels like this wish is not necessarily your own. You could be trying to fulfill someone else's wish, or create a dream life for someone else at the expense of yourself and, again, your own health or your own well-being or state of mind or something like that. There is some sort of grander vision with the Star card that you are trying to bring into being. And I feel like that's why you are making all of these sacrifices as well, because with the Empress, it's clear that you have a lot of affection and you have a lot of love towards the people that you are doing this thing for. Again, whether this is your family, whether this is your children, whether this is your parents, whether this is your siblings or your friends or whoever you are doing this for, and kind of sacrificing yourself in the process of. It seems to be in the name of like bringing abundance and care and just making sure that like other people have everything that they need. But again, it seems like you're taking it a bit too seriously here, especially with the Hanged Man in reverse. It feels like this because this can actually talk about sacrifice as well, the Hanged Man card specifically. It could be that you are either making too big of a sacrifice here with the Hanged Man coming out in reverse, or it's just that you are maybe trying to rush the process a bit, because this can also talk about restless energy and not really wanting to take the time, or trying to speed up the process, trying to possibly go through certain like shortcuts or ways in which you could get to your results quicker. But again, it seems to have some sort of detrimental effect on you. Yeah, it almost feels like you are taking this a bit to the extreme. Even though this seems to be a very noble cause, you seem to be paying too high of a price for this, whatever this is. And so I feel like that's why Spirit is emphasizing that taking it a bit more easy, or again, possibly incorporating other people into this process and realizing that you don't have to shoulder everything by yourself. Especially with the Hanged Man being here too, like this can indicate that you may have this desire or this feeling like you have to be the sole person who like takes on the whole responsibility, or the most amount of like discomfort or something like that. You know, it feels like it's not actually needed. That's why I feel like these cards are here, that it doesn't actually have to be this big of a strain or strife for you. And again, maybe even with the Star card, I don't know, this message of like trying to fulfill someone else's dream, or trying to make someone else's dream happen that isn't even your own dream. Like maybe really diving into that and seeing whether like making that happen is actually the best thing for everyone involved. Maybe it is. Only you can really answer that. But yeah, that's something that is being highlighted here too. And also with the Empress, again, I'm feeling the message of like potentially needing to find more enjoyment, or making more time and space for things to just be, and to take things more easily and everything like that, because it just seems a bit too like pedal to the metal type energy, right? Like a bit too intense. And again, it doesn't seem to be sustainable. And so that's why I feel like Spirit is saying that you can get there even if you kind of slow the process down a bit, and it may be a bit more sustainable that way as well, if that is something that you ultimately really want to do. But anyway, let's move on to the third and final theme or subject that Spirit wants you to know more about. Okay, interesting. We have whoops coming out. So I feel like intuitively asking the question, how can you avoid making a mistake or going down the wrong path? Yeah, making a mistake feels like it's a better question. How you can avoid making a mistake. Oh, again, exactly too. Love it. I love it when that happens. Oh, and you get more Major Arcana cards. So this is a big deal, pile number 3. Whatever we are dealing with here, even if it's something that is very much on a mundane level for you, something that you are dealing with day to day, it seems to have bigger implications when it comes to like soul growth, your soul journey, just this like big sort of turning point in your life in general, or a big lesson. We have Judgment and we have the Chariot that came out in reverse. And, sorry, the Knight of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, which also came out in reverse. So some zodiac signs would be heavy Scorpio with Judgment. We have Cancer with the Chariot, and we have Pisces with the Knight of Cups. So you have all water sign placements here. Okay, so this feels like a bit of a repetition of what we have already been talking about, so I'm not going to spend too long on these cards, because basically what Spirit is saying, that how you can avoid making a mistake or ending up in a place that you don't necessarily want to end up, or that is going to like cause more issues for you down the line. With Judgment, it feels like you are being asked to be super honest and forthright with yourself, to really face what it is that you are trying to achieve and what it is that you are trying to achieve it for, right? To really dig into the sort of the bigger or the deeper reasoning behind it, because Judgment deals with like big picture things. It deals with having a certain level of clarity, or a certain higher level understanding, again, this broad spectrum or broad view of things that is going to allow you to make more conscious and more aligned choices. With the Chariot in reverse, this is talking about like potentially, again, like making a misstep, but because of like rushing. With the Chariot coming out in reverse, it could be that you are possibly going headfirst down a path or in a direction that maybe you haven't considered like completely, or that there are certain things that you haven't yet realized. Because with Judgment, it's very clear that there is this level of understanding that needs to happen in order for you to like make the best moves. And so, especially because Chariot is coming out in reverse, it is indicating that you could end up sort of going down a wrong path, or like, even if it's not necessarily a wrong path, because every path can teach us something, but it just feels like you could be getting distracted, or you could be losing your way and end up in a place where you didn't really intend to end up in. And again, with the Knight of Cups coming out in reverse like this, I'm going to show you the image upright so it would be more sort of interesting for you to watch and see what is actually happening on the card. But the Knight of Cups coming out in reverse again seems to indicate that this reasoning behind why you are doing something, as pure or as like romantic or as like emotionally driven as it is, it may not necessarily be the right thing, or it may not be the right motivation. Again, I'm getting this message of this thing that you are actually trying to achieve not necessarily being your own dream, or trying to do it for someone else. Like, it kind of has, especially when the Knight of Cups comes out in reverse, it kind of has this like knight in shining armor vibe, but a bit like a bit of an illusioned knight in shining armor. You know, again, the intentions seem to be really good and really pure here, but maybe just a bit like not fully clear on how it is actually impacting you, or going based off of an ideal or something that seems like more romantic, or seems more like a grand gesture or something in your mind's eye, but maybe it isn't even something that the other person wants. Maybe it's just something that you think that they want, or something that you think is going to make them happy, right? So again, it seems to be like there is this level of like not really having very clear communication with the people around you, or the people who are also involved in this, and possibly the people that you are doing these things for, right? Putting all of this effort in. Spirit is kind of giving you a bit of a heads up, or again, like maybe warning you, like before you go too deep into this thing, or before you end up in a place where you are like completely burnt out and you are, I don't know, again, just giving you an example here, working like 3 different jobs and possibly never being at home because you are constantly having to deal with your work responsibilities, trying to earn all of that money so that you could buy certain gifts for your partner, or take them to a faraway destination, or something like that. It seems like you have this goal in your mind's eye of like what is going to make this person happy, or what they would really want. And so you were trying to do everything in your power to give it to them, whilst like, again, basically running on empty yourself. And then because you maybe haven't actually talked this thing through with the other person, and you don't have their view on things and like what they really need or what they really would want from you, it's like, even if you get to that point and you are able to take them on that holiday, or you are able to buy all of these gifts to them, or are able to take them to these fancy restaurants or whatever, it's like they are not going to actually be happy, because it's not something that they needed or wanted. It's just something that you thought that maybe they wanted. But maybe all they really want is to just spend time with you, to spend quality time with you, and they really can't, maybe they can't do that because you are constantly at work, right? Does that make sense? Like, it's that type of like miscommunication, or like kind of like hitting against the wall and not really seeing eye to eye, or having this bit of drift or thing in your relationship. Again, sorry, this was just, I'm confusing things way too much here, but this was just the sort of the idea, or that I was trying to give based on the energy that I'm picking up on from these cards. Again, not saying that that's how it is for you specifically, but hopefully it illustrated the point here. So yeah, make sure to talk things through with your significant other, or with the people that you are working so hard for. Let's close the reading out with some oracle cards. And if you saw the last video that I posted, then you may have already seen these cards as well. These are some beautiful affirmation cards, and let's just see what sort of sweet affirmations they have for you. Okay. Yeah, okay, actually, let's start with the underlying energy first. So the underlying energy is choose compassion for others and for yourself. I actually love this, because especially choose compassion for yourself, because it does feel like there is this danger of like beating yourself up over some of the choices that you have made or are making right now. And so have compassion, because I feel like everything that you are doing from the bottom of your heart, for like really good intentions, and again, like, have compassion for the people around you as well, especially if you are finding yourself in like a bit of a growing distance with them, because it could just be that they are finding it difficult to connect with you and open up with you and really talk about what is going on with them, and you may be struggling with that as well. So it's just about, yeah, just kind of holding space for each other, and really trying to see where the other person is coming from, or trying to empathize with them and what they may be going through. So I feel like that is a really good message. But oh my goodness, this card is like the perfect card to get based on everything that we have been talking about, specifically with the last portion here. We have, look at the big picture before you react. Like, exactly, right? Like tune out, zoom out, and try to take in like the big view. Really focus on what it is that you are ultimately doing all of this for, and whether it is really worth it. So look at the big picture before you react. And this even talks about as well, like if you are going through certain arguments with your partner, or with your loved ones, then again, like, try and zoom out and remember like what this relationship and what this person ultimately means to you, even if they are really annoying, or even if they're really irritating in that moment. But just like kind of taking yourself out of the situation and out of that emotion, and reminding yourself like what ultimately matters here. I feel like that is also a message that maybe someone needs to hear. And you also have any challenges you're facing can be overcome. And I love we have mountains. I love that we have mountains on this card, because obviously we were dealing with mountains and obstacles on this card too. I feel like this is just spirit trying to, instill some self-belief and just, some courage in you, that any challenge you are in right now, or that you are coming up against, you can overcome. And again, like, I don't know why, but obviously this relationship, or these relationships that you have, is something that is very important, because it keeps coming up. The challenges in your relationships, those can also be overcome. But yeah, it does seem like spirit is really emphasizing that there is actually a way out, there is actually a solution, and you can overcome anything that you are sort of dealing with right now that is more challenging. But, oh my goodness, pile number 3, again, all of these readings have been such a roller coaster. I don't know, I feel like I'm experiencing certain like whiplash, or I don't know, it's just really interesting messages. I hope that they were useful to you, or at the very least that this was entertaining to watch, you know, if you didn't find any like real, true practical value from these messages. If you're still here, by the way, leave me a musical note. I hope that that emoji exists. Leave me a musical note in the comment section down below so that I would know that you are here, that you have watched this reading all the way through, that you are the OG soul family member here on YouTube. And I just really, really would love to connect with you in the comment section. And thank you as well, of course, if you're still here, if you are supporting me in this channel. And I really, really appreciate your beautiful energy. But anyway, not going to keep you any longer. I am wishing you all the best, pile number 3. Please take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself and others. And I hope to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages. But in the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.